And look who's here. Mike Tusken, I found him. You were busy. You're still doing police work. That's the thing.
Still doing police work, of course.
You weren't that late. I was giving you a hard time.
Yeah, I thought it was actually right on time.
Yeah, no, it was. It was perfect. I said, we're flexible. Everything's good. So well, thanks for coming, by the way. I appreciate it.
Dan.
Yeah, we've known each other, I think, since 2006 when I first got our little pup.
Indeed. Yeah, we have. Go way back.
We've had great conversations.
Great conversations, great time. You always entertain me.
Yeah.
Tremendously.
Good. Yeah, and sometimes I'll get like annoyed or something about something, and he's like, just listens, and then you calm me down, and then we're good,
It makes me wonder if you're going to text me as often as you do weekends,
I will.
nights, and early mornings.
I will.
Oh, good.
That'll be good, because now I can say a lot more, now that you're not with the city soon. But no, so you're done in August the 1st, and so I'm wondering, after you had this press conference and all these people and these faces and people who have been your mentor and all that kind of thing, how you feeling today?
Good, good. It is bittersweet. One of the things about policing is the longer you do it, as with most professions, the better you get at it. I've been police chief for now 6 years, and I'm in a position where there's not many things that can happen that will perhaps make me wonder what to do next. That said, it also is just a shelf life in this job. It's a very stressful job. I always say it's not a job, it's a lifestyle. You find places to live while you're working, and that takes a toll on a person. And so it's important to find some balance. And I know my family is looking forward to having more of me to be around and present, because it does take so much of your time when you're doing this. If you're going to do this job well, you have to be engaged all the time.
Yeah, my gosh. I mean, you have a staff. What's your staffing level? You got 100 and some odd people?
We have 158 when we're fully staffed. We're down about 22 cops right now, but and then we have
which is stressful.
Yeah, and then we have another 40 professional civilian staff. So about 200 people in the building.
And so you got your staff, but then you have you almost have a staff of 80,000.
Well,
outside the department.
So then you've got a constituency of 86,000 people here in the city, and we know that we have almost 7 million visitors a year. So there's a lot of activity going on in this city.
Got it. And I think we have some video. You started. When was it?
1992, April 27th of.
Look at you.
Yeah, this is yes. The fact that
that's you.
That you got a hold of my wife to share these
photos that
Kathy. I would never have shared with you.
Look at the old car. It looks like a cab compared to what you guys have now,
right. Right.
Look at you there.
There's an old couch there at my wife's house, yeah.
So that's pretty much those first few years, right?
Yeah, those early years. In fact, that picture there, the first one you had up, that was when I was a cadet at Hibbing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, going through school, yeah.
So you were in Minneapolis for a little bit.
Yeah, just a short bit. Started their academy there, but you used to have to apply everywhere because it was really hard to get a job.
Because hundreds of people would apply.
Hundreds of people. Yeah, I think Minneapolis, that process was north of 400 people when I got selected. I think there was a class of 30 that started with me there. In Duluth, it was similar, about 300 people, and they hired 6.
Wow. And compare it to now, how many people are applying?
Yeah, so
when jobs are open.
Our last process just closed a couple weeks ago, and we had 36.
Big difference.
Big difference. And so part of the issue is that people are not going into this profession. It's not. So I teach at Fond du Lac, and my classes used to be about 20 to 25 per semester. And so this last year, I had 12 to 13 in those classes.
Oh, wow.
So there's, half as many students are going into law enforcement, which really, that's where we're drawing from. That's a pool we're drawing from. In Minnesota, you have to have a post license or be post eligible. So you have to have that training and education. So we have to get students into the law enforcement program.
And that's partly where you're headed to run the program there.
That is.
We're going to talk because we're going to take a break in about a minute, and then we'll have another segment, and then we'll have another segment. That third segment we'll talk about the school.
It's just too much of me, don't you think, this morning?
No, it's great. I think it's great. Well, that's a long career.
Yeah.
And let's see, what has been the most rewarding, would you say, over all these years?
First and foremost, to be able to get hired in my hometown, which, again, in
Right.
the 90s, it really was very, very difficult to get hired, and sometimes people had to work years to get back here. So I was able to get hired early and to serve this community, and then all the people I met in this community.
During some of the worst times of
Yes.
people's lives, and
Yep.
the best too.
Yeah, yep. Really had an opportunity to meet people and to work with community. It doesn't matter, many times people try to find and gravitate to where people appreciate them or like them or aren't critical of them. To be quite honest, I found myself just in the opposite. Many times, of course, those are all great people, but a lot of times when people have a voice that something they don't like, something they want to improve, they have a critique or criticism of what you're doing or how you're responding, those are tremendous opportunities for improvement. And so I spent a lot of time on building relationships with people who perhaps were not people who were appreciative of what we were doing or had feedback on how we could do it better. And so that was very rewarding, as many of our changes come from from critique.
Well, and I think what you've done well is with certain minority groups in town who maybe didn't feel that their voice was being heard a lot, like the Native community. I know when I first came here in 2006, it seemed like it wasn't as strong, but I feel like that's one example of that.
Yeah, spend a lot of time with people in all walks. You can't say you're a police department for all of Duluth unless you're immersing yourself in the communities all over Duluth. And so we really made an effort.
This is one of your newest. This was nice.
Yeah, well, it was out at the depot on the train.
Yeah.
We even put
And that's
Rudy
your
in
dog,
that.
right?
Yeah, he put Rudy in that photo. And
Well, hey, we're going to take a quick break here so I don't get in trouble. And we'll be right back. More with Police Chief Mike Tusken.